What's up, nerds? We're your hosts this week. I'm Chad.
And I am Jake.
So this week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We're also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
So this week we'll be talking about episode 4 of Hawkeye on Disney Plus.
We will also continue our deep dive into the Harry Potter franchise with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, so secret.
So let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things that are nerd, that is and are.
Welcome back
nerd.
to the All Things That Are Nerd.
Ours nerd. But anyways, Jake, how was your week this week? I know that Minnesota got kind of shit on weather-wise.
We got drilled. We have in some parts of the state, like southern parts of the state, there was like 18 inches of snow. Here for me in the Twin Cities, it was like 12 or 13.
In the Twin Cities, my mom lives in Apple Valley, just like a half hour, 20 minutes south of the Twin. They got 18 inches, which is wild.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is as annoying as it is, and this is what I keep telling people, is that for us in the middle of December, normally we're already in single-digit fucking weather and covered in snow. This was our first big snowfall, and on Wednesday of this week, it's supposed to be 50 degrees. So, like, can I complain about it? Sure. Should I? Definitely not.
Wow, that realization sounds like an inconvenient truth. Sorry. Well, with that, I mean, we did not get any of that snow. I mean, it snowed for like maybe like 30 minutes lately. We got a bunch of rain in Ohio, just like downpoured.
We're supposed to have thunderstorms on Wednesday. Thunderstorms. Yeah. It's the middle of December.
We didn't quite get that, but it rained a lot. Like almost flash flood rains. Like it downpoured for like 4 hours straight. Like a lot of rain.
That's what's up.
But I mean, I'm moving out of this and moving to that.
Back to Minnesota. Yeah. That's right, everybody. Minnesota is unfortunate enough to have Chad Hilson back here.
In February. But yeah, so I'm moving back, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I am too, minus all the snow. But, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's just part of it.
Here's the thing. If you live here in Minnesota, or the Midwest in general, somewhere where you just get a ton of snow, let me tell you something.
You're used to it.
Yes, but get snow tires. I got snow tires put on my. I have a Chevy Malibu, 2004. I know I make a lot of money off this podcast. But I put snow tires on my car like 2 weeks ago, and I drove home. That snowstorm was on Friday. I didn't get off work until like 5 or 5:30, I think, on Friday. I don't remember what time it was. It was late. It was after the snow. The snow started at 12. It snowed for hours. The roads were garbage. I drove home in my tiny little car. No problem.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, after the rest of the 8 inches dropped on us, other than clearing my car off, which was a pain in the ass, driving to work, not a problem. Get snow tires on your car.
It's a worthwhile investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need it.
Yeah.
Speaking of winter wonders, Jake, what happened?
I started this last year for my cousin Sarah, who in the midst of the pandemic was not able to take her daughter to go see Santa for her daughter's first ever Christmas. Fast forward a year, uh, we're still in this.
Yeah, it's
and
still not great.
and I think that everybody loved it so much that I did this that they wanted me to continue doing it. So I bought this like $120 Santa costume, and I have now become my family's designated Santa.
If you guys want
So
to look at it, if you're not, we'll post it to our Instagram as well.
where should I point? Over
Other
here?
way, other way.
This way, right
Yeah.
here.
If you guys are watching this on YouTube, it's right here. It's great.
It's right
He just scares the crap out of children.
Oh my God! The first year she screamed bloody murder. This year we thought maybe it would be better. It wasn't. She does not like Santa. But she's only,
2,
yeah.
just
So
under.
we'll see how it goes in the future. But it was hilarious. The pictures are hilarious. It was fucking. It was scary. They put her in my lap, and she's for a little kid, dude. She's so strong, and like I was
that
trying
grip
not
strength.
to. Well, we were on a stage, so I was like on a chair, and I was like on a stage, with like a Christmas tree and all this stuff behind me or whatever. But and I was wearing like these like nylon gloves, and they put her in my lap with like a cute little silk dress on her, and she was like, "Get me the fuck out of here!" like screaming, and I was like trying to like not drop her, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And the first thing she did was pull my beard off, and it was oof. cute kid, my niece, love her to death, but holy buckets. It was rough. I gotta do it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we'll post another picture for next week, because next week I'm doing it for my other niece. Her name is Sahana, and yeah, so
Yeah, so
I
look
love
out
it.
for those.
As much as I hate Christmas, I love doing Christmas stuff for the kids. So
Oh,
I
just
know.
a big old softie.
Yeah.
But also with that, I mean, this past week since our last episode came out, West Side Story came out into theaters. So I'm gonna go see that on Wednesday, and then
I won't see it till Christmas Day with Nicole.
And then also what comes out this week, Jake?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Nowhere Home. Woohoo! Also, The Witcher on Netflix.
Yes, all those. So we might have to take a pause next week from our Harry Potter.
Yeah, I feel like we can do a whole
and
episode
Hawkeye
on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And The Witcher season premiere, and there's a lot to talk about for the rest of this month.
So
guys,
much nerd shit coming up.
So
it's
please
so
forgive us if we don't go week to week with our Harry Potter dives, like we're going to get into later in this episode. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
But for sure next week we'll be talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm so excited. I'm going to see it on Thursday. So Jake and I aren't going to talk for a couple of days.
Yeah. I won't see it till Saturday. I told Chad I don't want to talk to him until I see it.
I promised I won't ruin anything for him.
He promises, but I don't think he ever purposely ruins things for me.
I don't.
He accidentally ruins things for me.
Like that one time when I told you that Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. I'm sorry.
You idiot. Anyways, tell us about sponsor numero uno.
Yeah, so with that, before we get into talking about Hawkeye this week, we do want to tell you about our first sponsor, which is Raise Energy Drinks. Fantastic. I need to find a better word because I just use fantastic every week. They are great.
Incredible.
They are incredible.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm sorry. I freaked out.
Incredible. They seriously are great energy drinks with 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 crash. so many flavors available and so much more than just energy drinks. Listen up, you'll learn how to save 15%, and that promo code is good for everything on their website. So just listen up. We'll be right back with you to talk about Hawkeye. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, and powered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, guys, before we get into this week's Hawkeye episode, for some reason, Chad and I decided to start talking about...
It was a slippery slope, man.
We started talking about Neverending Story. No, it started with White Fang. And then it went into Neverending Story. And then it went into
Old Yeller and Where the
Red Fern Grows. And now we're depressed. And we're sorry. We're sorry.
So please just take a moment with us.
Moment of silence for those adorable dogs.
And horse.
And a horse. Anyways, we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. We want to talk about Hawkeye, episode 4. Dude, this episode was the tits. It was so good. I knew it was going to be good. I knew after the setup of the episode 3, when it ended, I was like, fuck. Episode 4 is going to be so good. I was so mad when it ended. As you guys may have... giant spoiler alert before we go any further into this episode. But if you guys remember, basically at the end of episode 3, Clint Barton is in Kate's house, her mom's house with her stepdad. And Jack, her stepdad, or soon to be stepdad, I think, is technically...
Yeah, they're not married yet, but it is Jack Dormond.
Whatever.
The swordsman
puts the Ronin sword to Clint's throat, and that's where the episode ends of episode 3. And so episode 4 basically picks up right where it left off.
And I mean, at first Clint's like, hey, there's a misunderstanding. Kate's mom walks in and is like, holy shit, you're an Avenger.
Yeah, why is there an Avenger in my house? Yeah.
And Jack is like, oh yeah, you're Archer. And Kate's like, I told you, your branding's the issue. It starts out light and funny, but with some serious undertones because Jack still possesses the Ronin sword, from a black market.
And we don't
auction.
know, is he a good guy or a bad guy? And so far, it's just speculated that he's a bad guy.
He's a little sketchy, but kind of lovable in that way. Maybe.
I mean, he's got a good mustache.
It's full Super Troopers with half of I'm gonna be your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
It's
gorgeous.
And yeah, it's a good mustache.
It's a good mustache. It's a good mustache. But there's a basically a scene where Vera Farmiga, who plays Kate's mom, basically like tells Clint like, "Hey, Kate's not an Avenger, and like you need to get the fuck out of my house," basically. And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And he leaves.
But then she does tell Clint like, "Hey, so that means you're gonna drop this case," and he's like, "No,
No.
but I will make sure that your daughter is safe."
Yeah.
So like that kind of like sets up the episode, but then we actually get to see like Kate coming around to the idea of her mom like moving on and being with Jack. And it's a little cheesy, but it's also kind of like sweet, but like Jack tries to like serenade Eleanor Bishop, Kate's mom, by like Johnny Cashing some very classic Christmas songs. And by Johnny Cashing, I mean he says the words to the song in the right tempo, but he does not sing.
Yeah. But the thing is that Clint, and we'll get into this part of it a little bit later in this conversation, but Clint is talking to his wife on the phone, and she basically tells him that the Jack is, in fact, a douchebag. He's a bad guy. He is running a front for the tracksuit mafia.
Yeah, exactly.
And so Kate was right all along, basically. And even though Clint was skeptical to believe her, but keeping an open eye to it, now he knows that she was right.
Yeah, which is also kind of like, it's really heartbreaking when you see that interaction between Clint and Kate Bishop, because he's like, hey, by the way, like, good intel, like, I looked into it, and your intuition was right, like, he's not a good dude. And this was after the whole, like, interaction where she, like, saw her mom happy with Jack and was like, oh, maybe I'm being a dick.
Yeah.
And then when she learns this, then she's like double crushed.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like, I let my guard down and now this is happening. And so it is really heartbreaking, but what's hilarious is like Clint goes back to like their safe house, which is like Kate's aunt's house, and like takes all like the frozen margaritas and daiquiris out of the freezer and just like tapes them to his body because he's sore.
I have to interrupt you. You know this about me. And Nicole knows this about me. I used that that exact same thing. It's a daiquiri one. I'll pull it out of my freezer right now and show you guys. I was using that as an ice pack for a long time. And then
I gave you ice packs.
And then you gave me 2 ice packs. And I fucking died fucking laughing when they showed him taping those fucking frozen daiquiris to his fucking body.
Like to his wrist, his shoulder, his elbow, his knees. Like he took like 5 out of the freezer. I still
have it. I still fucking have it. It's in my freezer. I use it religiously. It's hilarious that they did that. And I was like, oh my God.
It was so funny.
Do that. Oh, anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
no, but
I could not let that go unsaid.
But there's also like a side comment because like Kate and her mom are just like laughing at Jack because like he's mixing up, you know, like what do they call them in the show, like aphorisms, but they're like,
oh, he's not saying,
yeah, like, you know,
he's like making quotes, but he's not saying it
isms,
right.
You know, just like isms, where it's, you know, like Mama always said life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get.
But he says it wrong.
And he says something like, you know, they always say life is so short, you never know what you're gonna get. Like he just like mixes them, like a bird in the bush is like, you never know what you're gonna get, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Or like distance makes the heart grow older. They're making fun of him because he says them because he says it wrong.
Yeah.
Partially because he's not English. Like he's from like a European country, so like probably the translation's off for him. But that's how I'm trying to justify that he's saying them wrong, because I still have a little bit of like love for him, even though he's clearly like kind of like a terrible person.
I'm just trying to make you squirm, dude. I'm sorry.
It worked. It definitely worked. But and he's like, no, I'm pretty sure it makes sense. So like, why would people not say that? And they're like, that's just not the same. But with that sort of thing, one of the things that he says after they make fun of him, he's like, well, I'd rather be laughed at by my family than be alone for the holidays. And Kate's like, fuck. Like, because of me, Clint is alone for the holidays.
Yeah.
So she like leaves and brings pizza and
movies
and like holiday movies and like a cheesy Christmas sweater with like a cat on it with like
for both of them.
Yeah,
they end up wearing like cheese. They get drunk together, which is like super fun.
Off of his ice packs.
Yeah, they're like making the drinks and they get drunk. They start flicking.
It's
like
a Christmas ornament. Yeah. He said that he can do it with a quarter, but they end up using like a Christmas ornament.
Yeah,
and you actually see that like Clint is like deadly with just about anything, except for a dime because they're too light, according to the episode. Yeah. Really, really enjoyable. Like he literally like flicks a Christmas ornament, like bounces off a couple of things, turns off the TV, and Kate's like, "You have to teach me." And then
he does.
And then he does. And it's it's really fun. And you actually get to see him like training her indirectly.
They have like a really good time. And then she starts asking some questions and he gets pissed. Not pissed, but he's just like
emotional. But she also gets to the point that he admits that he is the Ronin to her.
And then she basically asks him, what is the best shot you've ever taken? And he says, the best shot I ever took was the shot that I never took. And she's like, elaborate. And he's like, no, I shouldn't have said it. Like, blah, blah, I don't want to talk about it. And he gets kind of touchy about it. But he's know that Nat. He's talking about he was hired to kill Natasha Romanoff back in the day when we hear about Natasha and Clint in the Avengers movies, talking about Budapest and all their like old missions. Basically, he was hired originally to kill her, take her out, and he was going to kill her, and he took pity on her, and then turned her into an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. instead.
Yeah.
And so he's saying basically the best shot I took was I took a shot on this person rather than killing her.
Yeah.
And it's a touching moment, and we knew this was going to come in this series.
Yeah, because they've already hinted at it. Like even the last episode when he's like, "I'm not a role model. Like I'm not a hero. Like I'm not. Like I may have been on the Avengers, but like I'm no hero." And they reiterate it in this episode where he's like, when Kate finds out that he was the Ronin, he's like, I went back to doing what I knew what to do. Because
I was a weapon. They pointed me in a direction, and I hurt people.
Yeah. He said, ultimately, I was there to hurt people. I just had good people pointing me at the right people.
Yeah.
And when he's talking about Nat, which is really, really cool, is that when he's reminiscing and telling the story about Nat, we hear the theme from Endgame when they're on Vormir, when Natasha dies.
Yeah.
It's stripped down a little bit. It's not as like
it's orchestral. Real quiet.
Yeah,
it's real quiet too. It's not like a prevalent sound.
Yeah, it's very much in the background, but it's there.
Yeah.
And I think that it's like perfect. Honestly, like
it was really good.
From a sound design aspect, like it perfectly set up the mood to like portray those emotions, and it was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. we all got a little choked up there. Let's move on.
Absolutely. Um, Also, a big thing throughout this is we know from like Spider-Man with Ned, Spider-Man has a guy in the chair,
Mm,
but Clint has a guy in the chair, but it's more like a wife in the chair.
yeah. Yeah, Laura.
Yeah.
She all of his information he's getting throughout this episode has been from his wife, which leads us to believe that maybe how they met was through Shield and she probably worked for Shield. Otherwise, how would she be able to like
This
do
good.
that? Yeah.
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 Guy in the
That's it's definitely a theory that's out there, but it makes sense because she was able to get like in-depth information for
yeah.
Clint
Multiple times, not
multiple
just like
times.
once in the
And
episode.
she
Yeah.
knew about Intel and like
Yeah.
hardware, which we'll get to in a moment, that he needed to be aware of.
Yeah. Um Okay, so fast forward to basically, should I just go into? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna go there. I'm just gonna go there.
Okay.
Basically,
Yeah, if we're out of order, it's not the end of the
yeah,
world.
Clint and Kate go to break into an apartment to retrieve a Rolex because the Rolex belongs to somebody of importance from when he was Ronin, and if he
Maybe not Ronan, but at least a member of Shield.
yeah, and if it falls in, they would compromise that person and the people that they care about. So they're like, let's get this. And he's basically like telling Kate like how he's gonna get into the place. He's like, all right, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go across there and do this. It'll take me like
Yeah.
4 or 5 seconds to get in there. And he turns and she's gone and she's doing it.
But a completely different way.
Yeah, she basically is like stopping traffic, just walking across the street, and just being. I again, I'm going to refer to her fighting style and everything about her as a very like comedic, like Jackie Chan, like fighting movie. Like she's just
Like the
like
drunken warrior.
she's just like hilarious about everything that she does, even in fighting. There's like no like seriousness to it. She's just like, like when like in the first like episode when she gets like she's like breaking bottles over someone's head and they fall down. She's like, ooh, and then like throws it over her shoulder. You know what I mean?
And like
It's very
punches a wine bottle out of the wine rack to hit someone in the face. Like
yeah, it's very. It just reminds me personally of Jackie Chan. I grew up on Jackie Chan movies. I'm sorry, but yeah.
No, you're fine.
Anyways,
That makes sense too.
yeah, she goes into the apartment.
Clint even calls her out on it. Sorry to backtrack. He's like, you know that like you acting like a stuck-up child getting your way is really annoying. She's like, yeah, but it works, and then like keeps going.
What happens when she gets in the apartment, dude?
So she breaks into the apartment. Like strobe lights start to go off, so she shoots some trick arrows at them, and she's like, "Yeah." And Clint's like, "What was that?" She's like, "I don't know. There was like strobe lights going off," and he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah." And that's kind of like the last that they say of it for a little bit. And they're looking for this watch. Like Jake said, it's
a Rolex.
Yeah, it's a vintage Rolex for someone who Clint used to work with that would compromise their identity. I saw online that it was actually like Clint's, and I was like, no, that's a terrible thing because he'd be like, hey, look, this could fuck me over. Like, he wouldn't hold that much back unless it was someone else. My first theory when I watched it the first time was like, oh, it's Nick Fury because like he's supposed to be dead. But when I rewatched it, like going back to that guy in the chair theory that we have about Laura, his wife, I think it's her watch.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then when we see the watch, like it's got like diamonds around like the dial, which is fairly feminine. It's got rose gold on it, which is also, I mean, I have some rose gold jewelry. And by that I mean plugs for my ears, and they're like my
Oh, your ears.
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, not my butt. I go for durability there, not flashy. Fuck you. But I mean, it's a much more feminine watch. It looks like a women's watch. I'm just gonna ignore the fact that you're laughing at me talking about butt plugs.
Well, you said you went there. You said
It's because you made the joke first, okay? You hinted, you left the door open, and I'm gonna close it, okay?
Go on with the Borfil.
The what?
The Borfil. No. It's from Billy Madison.
Oh,
no,
okay.
not Billy Madison. Yeah. Wait, yeah, Billy Madison.
I didn't catch that reference, and now I'm ashamed.
Chlorophyll. More like Borfil.
There we go.
You don't know what I'm talking about? And then the chick's like, don't talk to me. And he's like, no, I will not go out with you. What? This guy's up here talking about Borfil, and all you want to do is go out with me. Yeah. Anyways, scrub that.
Solid.
Sorry, guys.
But so they find the watch, but then they also find like a notebook where it says like, it has Clint's name, his wife's name, his kids' names.
And ages.
Except for Nathaniel, which is the youngest. But like they kind of start to freak out. A fight breaks out. It turns out that they're in Maya Lopez's apartment, aka Echo.
Echo.
Yeah, they fucked up.
Yeah, they fight a little bit. They shoot. Clint shoots like a thing.
Arrow.
Like a zip line, basically.
Like a zip line arrow, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "Get over here," and she like, "Get over here." Yeah, and Kate like goes out on it, and she's like sliding, and then like
she gets like halfway
in the middle of it, and she's like, "Oh, come on!"
Because Hawkeye is also fighting someone that is not Maya.
Yeah,
but he thinks it is because she's wearing a mask.
Yeah, he's like, what does he say? He's like, I'm fighting Maya.
He's like, Maya's here, and she's like, yeah, I know. Why didn't you tell me? He's like, I did. And she's like, and Kate's like, well, she's here, and he's like, how are you fighting her? I'm fighting her. Who the hell am I fighting?
Yeah, and fucking, this is huge because it's fucking huge. The person that Clint is fighting, he eventually grabs her mask off of her, and it's fucking Yelena. It's Black Widow's
Belovnov.
sister.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh.
Pugh.
It's Pugh.
Pugh. Is it Pugh?
It is Pugh.
Like pew pew.
Like pew pew.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought it was
Florence
Pugh for so long.
Florence Pugh. But
I actually really like her as an
actress.
Do too. So please
And
excuse
I
my
also
joking about
love
her name.
Zach Braff, and so
Whatever.
like I would never disrespect his lover.
Anyways, yes, it's Yelena. She has been. If you guys haven't seen Black Widow, what are you doing? At the end of Black Widow, she is turned on to Clint by
Valentina Cortez, blah 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 blah. Val
basically tells her that Clint killed her sister. So she's pissed and she's trying to kill Clint. There's an awesome rooftop. Huh?
Is she though in this episode?
I don't know if she's trying to kill him, but they're definitely. I don't know.
So my thought on this is because at first, just from the cinematic universe of like, hey, this is your new hit. He killed your sister. It's Clint. She shows up in New York trying to fight. You'd be like, oh, she's here to fuck shit up. But I think that the thing is that Yelena is going to take so much into account because of how much she loved her sister is that she's going to take into the account that Natasha trusted him and loved him like as family and not actually follow through.
Yeah, well, for sure.
We'll find out, but
I think she'll definitely be a good guy in the end of things.
But we kind of get like a mirror of Clint and Natasha with Kate to
Oh yeah, that
Yelena
was cool.
in this.
Basically, Yelena just yeets her off the fucking side of a building, and Clint is like, "Oh my god, no!" and runs over.
Oh, we get two of those then if we're talking about this.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I was talking about the ending, but continue with this. Like,
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. I thought we were on the same page. We're not.
no, but you're right.
Yelena throws Kate off the side of the building.
Attached to a grappling, like not trying
Yeah,
to kill her.
but Clinton doesn't see that, and he thinks that she just fucking killed her, and he like runs to the side of the building. She's hanging from a rope by her waist, and then he has like a flashback of uh, Natasha hanging from in Vormir,
on Vormir, yeah.
And then it shows back to where they are, and Kate's like, pull me up, and he goes, get out of here, and he cuts the rope, and she gracefully falls through some like lights and stuff and lands on the ground, and immediately is like, nope, I'm going back up there. And she like goes back in the door, goes back up. It's
also
adorable.
with that, she does get a shot off on Maya or Echo, and it kind of bummed me out because like Echo is a badass. I mean, granted, getting an arrow to your shoulder because Kate puts an arrow in Maya's shoulder, but like you'd think that she'd keep fighting because like she's here on a mission to like stop Clint and all that stuff, but she gets the arrow in the shoulder and she almost like pouts. She almost looks like she's about to cry and is like and like pulls the arrow out of her shoulder and like fucks off.
I kind of like it because I think she was more like, there's way more going on here, because like Yelena was there. Like there was like so much fighting going on that it was like Kate and Yelena, Kate and Echo, fucking Clint and Echo, Clint and Yelena. It was just so much, and then like Echo and Yelena don't know who each other are, so it was just like, what the fuck. So when she gets shot, she was like, all right, fuck this, I don't know what's going on here.
I hope that they dive deeper into that, but
yeah,
at even the couple of times that I watched this episode, I was like, that part always bothered me because I was like, they built Maya to be this badass, and then the second that she actually gets like injured, she's like, nope.
I think it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna grow. I do believe that, and I really hope for that. But like, I was like, come on, man, like, come on.
Anyways,
but then Kate gets.
How does it end?
She gets an arrow aimed at the back of Yelena. This is what I was talking about, where it's like the Clint and Natasha. Like the best shot I took was the one that I didn't take, because I think it really influenced Kate to know that like
not take the
just
shot,
because you have the shot, you shouldn't doesn't mean you should take it.
Because she could have killed
Yelena right there, and she turned around and
she puts it, and then she like puts the bow down.
Yeah, and Clint is like on the ground, like in pain, still alive, and Yelena's like, no. Kate puts down her bow, or like undocks the arrow, and Yelena like runs off. She like throws a grappling hook, and it's so badass how she escapes. She like jumps off the roof and like, Christ airs off of it for all you Tony Hawk fans. And that's
cool.
How she gets away. But it was cool.
Yeah. This episode is badass. I love this one so much. And it also kind of just goes to show how much that I feel like a lot of people, when I tell people that these TV shows like tie into the movies, I feel like they don't really realize how much these TV shows on Disney Plus are going to...
They fill the gaps, is what they're supposed to do.
They're going to affect the movies so fucking hard, dude. I mean...
So hard.
Yeah.
Like
Especially Loki. I feel like Loki might have been the most impactful...
That and WandaVision, to be honest.
Yeah, WandaVision too. Yeah.
But
anyways,
No end credit scenes for this episode.
No, not yet. We will let you guys know which episodes have end credit scenes.
Yeah.
This one, no. That being said, we're gonna go sponsor 2. Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled. Don't fucking make me laugh.
Sorry.
Fuck you. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on practically. I fucked that up. Practically anything.
That was not a word.
Practically.
Say it again.
It's a pickled habanero hot sauce that goes on practically anything. Listen up.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. Welcome back, guys. So this week we are going to continue our dive into our throwback series of the Harry Potter films and books. With this week we will be talking about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is the second book and film in the franchises.
Woo!
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 Almost right off the bat, we get introduced to who, Jake?
Dobby. He's an elf.
Yeah, bless his soul. He's just the most
annoying little bastard.
I was going to say adorable little fucktwat.
I love how every time Harry tells him something that Dobby doesn't like, he just starts banging his head against he's like, bad Dobby, bam, 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 bam. Just slamming his head into a dresser.
It's because house elves are basically
slaves.
They're slaves. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Some wizarding families treat them better, but his particular family does not.
And then doesn't he start, he picks up a lamp and starts bashing his head with the lamp.
He's like, I almost spoke poorly about my master family.
Oh, he's like, I shouldn't have said that. That's a bad Dobby. He just picks up a lamp and is like, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Blammo, blammo, blammo.
Bam. Yeah. Basically, the point of Dobby being there is that Dobby does not want Harry Potter to return to Hogwarts. He cannot. That's a bad impression.
It was great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Basically, Dobby is like, you cannot go back to Hogwarts. If you go back to Hogwarts this year, you'll be in great danger. Blah 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 blah.
With that being said, during this point in time, because Dobby's just here to fuck shit up and party a little. More than what Harry's prepared for. He just ruins Harry's home life.
Well, he basically tells Harry, if you're gonna go to Hogwarts, if you don't promise me that you're not gonna go to Hogwarts this year, I'm gonna fuck shit up. And Harry's like, I'm not going to Hogwarts. And Dobby's like, all right, watch this.
All right, hold my beer. Bet. But so basically Dobby fucks up Uncle Vernon's dinner party, right? Drops cake on their guests, shit like that, and Harry gets blamed for it. Yeah. Harry gets locked in his room with 5 padlocks and bars on his window.
Yeah.
As if
actually, you should
covered under the stairs wasn't bad enough.
Yeah. Well, he finally gets his own room in the second movie.
Yeah, barely.
I mean, yeah, he's not under the stairs anymore.
It's Dudley's second bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah. You should.
It's not great cotton.
You should mention your theory about Harry's aunt and uncle, because I really enjoyed that.
See, I want to, but I know that a couple of our
Oh, will it
listeners
fuck
have
it
not
up?
gone
Okay.
that far.
Okay. Yep.
When we get there, I will circle back to this.
Okay.
So, for those of you that have not gotten this far, first off, watch more with Jake. And if you can't, watch it on your own. Okay? Okay.
No, she's watching.
Okay, Nicole?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, cool. Good chat. I'm glad we had this. Shut up, Siri. But so basically, Ron and his brothers take a magically enchanted flying car from their father and go and rescue Harry from his evil aunt and uncle.
They are evil.
We'll get
into it later.
Yeah,
later.
There's reasons behind it, and we'll get to it in like minimum 4 weeks from now.
We're getting there.
Minimum. But there's other things coming out. So like, let's say within the next 2 to 3 months.
Faster than that, for sure.
Why, if we're talking about one episode or one movie a week?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah.
Okay, sorry for that. For the people that are not watching the video and are only on audio, you just heard a long ass pause. Which means that you should just go subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch this. But anyway, so Ron and Fred and George go and bust Harry out of his house with a flying car. And it's, for the year that this came out, it's pretty great.
It's about your kids, Marty!
It's pretty great, though, in all seriousness. Oh, geez. No, but it's pretty great.
I'm sorry, I'm just like throwing off your train of thought so bad right now.
You are really good. But we get introduced to what's called the Flu Network, which is basically where they use enchanted fireplaces for travel, which is pretty dope. If that was a real thing, like I'd invest in a flue chimney like years ago. But they end up at the bookstore and they meet their new. He's like a pseudo celebrity.
Diagonally.
Diagonally.
Did he just say diagonally?
He did. And then he ended up exactly one neighborhood slightly to the left.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Because it's like, you fucked up there. But we meet.
It's also weird that none of them like
put that together.
To get him.
Yeah, they're like, oh no.
Like,
well, hey, he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll say diagonally and then go there and get him and then bring him. They were like, wow.
Oh no, he fucked up. Hope we find him again. But they all go to like the bookstore to get like their next year's books for like magic. And they come across the Costco Ewan McGregor. His name is Gilderoy Lockhart. And literally...
He's a fake! This guy's a phony! He's a big fat phony!
I was gonna say, big fat phony! But yeah, he resembles Ewan McGregor, but like not quite.
In a gross way.
Yeah, like in a... You look at him and you're like, is that Ewan McGregor? No. And then you think about it and you're like, definitely not. And that's why I call him the Costco Ewan McGregor. Because Costco brands, they're great. But they're not quite right. And then the more you look at it, you're like, no. Just no. That's all, Jake. Are you ready?
I sure do love pumpkins, Cotton.
F&A, Cotton. F&A.
F&A. We are all over the place right now. I'm so sorry, guys. We're drunk and we're having fun, and that's what this podcast is about. So deal with it.
Fun fact, because we have time to kill for this, not really time to kill, but we're off topic. For those of you that have already seen this, and for those of you that haven't, I mean, like, go watch this, I guess. You're like 20 years too late. Harry Potter casts 2 spells throughout this entire film. And it's like, this is about him learning magic. If you go back to the first film, he doesn't successfully complete a single spell in the first movie. He just doesn't.
So what? He didn't even know he was a wizard in the first movie until Hagrid comes and gets him.
Don't back this shit up. Hagrid is an OG.
I'm going to fight you about this.
Ron does better, and he knew that he was a wizard the entire time.
Ron knew he was a wizard. Ron was
Hermione was Muggle-born, meaning non-magical parents.
But she knew she was going to Hogwarts as a wizard. She knew.
But
Harry had no idea. Oh.
But also, Hermione, having known, also knew that it was illegal for her to practice before going to school.
She could still study it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that she could...
Harry had no idea that he was a wizard.
No.
Henceforth, he could not study it, read about it, or anything because he had no fucking clue that it was even a thing. Ron and Hermione both knew and read and studied this shit because Ron's family, first of all, was wizards.
Yeah, they're pure bloods.
Hermione is a fucking know-it-all little brat who she knew she was. So Harry had no fucking clue
she couldn't practice, and reading doesn't do anything because throughout the films he proves that he has magical aptitude.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to use it because
he doesn't know how to use his wand, but he is magically like inclined for other things.
Delicious.
Oh, fuck you. All I'm saying is that in the first movie, he doesn't cast a single spell. The second one, he casts 2. And one of them is to stop Ron from fucking his shit up because Ron breaks his wand earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
To where when Ron tries to use magic, it just fucks Ron up instead of who he's aiming at.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with it. Then you try to fight me, and it's like...
I am fighting you about it because Harry didn't know that he was fucking... He didn't know.
You still fought me. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong. That's right. But you did fight me on it. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Good chat.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Drugs are bad. Okay.
So that covers the fact that
we're all over the place right
Ron's wand is broken throughout this entire movie. Also, what's hilarious is that Harry breaks his arm during a Quidditch match. For those of you that don't know, because we didn't talk about Quidditch last episode.
We were talking about the professor. What's his fucking...
Quirrell and Snape.
Yeah. No.
Both of them. Well, we talked about both of them. But basically, Quidditch is wizard soccer on broomsticks.
It's more like a...
It's wizard soccer on broomsticks.
It's like a lacrosse and like...
Wizard soccer.
No. Lacrosse and cricket.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I take back what I said. You're right. It very much is those two games combined on flying broomsticks.
Yeah.
But Harry breaks his arm in this movie while playing Quidditch. Very badly broken arm. And Professor Lockhart, who is the Costco Ewan McGregor, is like, oh, I can fix that.
He's the defense
against the dark arts teacher. That new this year because the last one did not work out because he was, a host for Voldemort.
Yeah.
But so he tries to fix Harry's arm and like cast a spell on it and just
He
turns it
fixed
into.
it.
I mean, he did.
I'm kidding.
He did get rid of the broken arm by removing the bones.
The bone, yeah.
It was a no bones day, is what happened.
Basically, turned it into like a rubber fist.
Yeah, it was just gross, but not wrong. It was an OnlyFans punch modeled. I'm grossed out by myself by going into too many details. He turned his broken arm into just a rubber fisted dildo. And that's better than where I was going. For those of you that are like, wow, that's gross. It would have been worse. With that being said, we find out that Harry can legitimately talk to snakes, and it's rare. Because they showed in the first movie where he talks to a snake, but he's like speaking English. Yeah. In this one, he's speaking Latin with a lisp.
Yeah.
As if the Bartholonians spoke Latin.
What was it called? Parcel
tongue.
Parcel tongue, yeah.
It's snake language, and it's supposedly super rare.
And it's why it's what the House of Slytherin is. This they can do this.
And not all Slytherins, but the founder of Slytherin, Salazar Slytherin, was a parcel tongue.
Which makes Harry think that he's in the wrong house and
he's the heir of Slytherin. Because the entire premise of this is that the Chamber of Secrets, which was a hidden chamber within the castle of Hogwarts
and it had secrets.
And it had so many secrets.
We gotta fight.
Where it was opened originally by Salazar Slytherin to eliminate non-pureblood wizards, such as Harry and Hermione and countless others in the school, from learning magic, because Salazar Slytherin was basically Hitler. He was a fascist, in wizard terms. But because Harry can speak Parseltongue, everyone thinks that he's now the heir of Slytherin, which is leading to the fact that people are getting attacked by some beast in the Chamber of Secrets. It's not great for Harry. There's a lot that goes into that, including we get introduced to Tom Riddle as a child, which turns out to be Lord Voldemort. Oh, he who must not be named. It's not great. Sorry for wasting your guys'.
What was the... Oh, there's like a anagram or something to his name, and
his full name is Tom Marvello Riddle, and if you rearrange the letters like you would in an anagram, so you're right there, it spells out the phrase "I am Lord Voldemort."
That's what it is. Yeah. Woohoo!
But so Tom Riddle has preserved his younger body into a diary that both Tom and Ron's younger sister Ginny find, and they basically like breathe life into this diary by like writing in it. It basically comes down to the point where Ron and Harry have to go into the Chamber of Secrets. They bring Professor Lockhart because he's a dope, but also like a professor. He tries to sabotage them. It doesn't work. Sorry, we're rushing through this. We spent way too much time on like the non-important facts of this. But as we go through the series, you'll understand that those non-important facts actually mean something. To the point where it's just Harry, and he fights what is called a basilisk, which is a giant snake, which plays into the fact that Harry is a partial tongue, so he could hear it throughout the movie, and he thought he was going crazy.
Because he could hear a person talking to him through the walls, and he thought he was, like Chad just said, going crazy. But it turned out it was the basilisk who was using the plumbing in Hogwarts to move around and fucking, try and kill people and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, so cool. But so Harry fights the basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets. Shit goes down. Um,
Oh man, we really got off topic in the second half
we
here.
really did.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Because so basically Harry defeats the basilisk.
Well, no, we gotta talk about the petrified kids and like how
Well,
the
so
reflections were.
yeah, so the basilisk by looking it in the eyes kills you.
It's like Medusa.
Yeah, exactly. But like most of the students in this that were attacked by the basilisk were just petrified. Basically, they saw like some form of reflection or diffraction of
Yeah.
the basilisk, either through like a mirror, a reflection on water,
Yeah.
through a camera lens, things like that.
Which would leave them in like a state of like stone.
Dead, undead,
Whatever.
but
Yeah.
frozen
But
to
alive.
frozen to stone.
Yeah.
More like Medusa.
Yeah. And yeah.
But
So Harry goes there,
and
fights the basilisk.
and he eventually destroys the basilisk, and
There is I'm gonna mention it, but we cannot talk about it further than this.
yeah.
Because we're talking about these by movie. We are not going to go into further movies.
We'll circle back to this.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Harry gets bit by the basilisk. The fang goes through his arm. And it's interesting, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, and basically the reason that he survives is because Dumbledore
sends the phoenix.
Sends a phoenix. Yeah, which has healing powers through their tears. Basically, the phoenix sees that Harry's injured, cries over him. He's healed. But also, Harry destroys the diary that we mentioned that Tom Riddle had preserved his body in, with the use of a basilisk fang. We'll also circle back to this.
Yeah.
In a few movies.
Since the first movie, which we've talked about obviously last week, and then this movie, what you gather is that Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort, is trying to get strong enough to create a corporeal body, because when he tried to kill Harry Potter as a baby, his powers, he got destroyed and his powers got fucking decimated, basically.
I also have a theory, because like everyone talks about Voldemort throughout like all these movies, so we won't get into it too much.
Yeah.
About how he's like the greatest dark wizard. And it's like,
yeah. He's very pale for being a dark wizard.
And the fact that he lost to a baby. I'm just gonna say it now.
I'm brown, so I can say that. It was a joke. Sorry.
The fact that he loses to like a newborn baby, like 1 year old.
Well, he didn't lose to Harry. He lost to Harry's mom, Lily.
Yeah, but he went there to kill a baby, and then lost.
Lily, but Lily threw herself
because she cast
Harry.
Cast a magical spell over him. So like any magical spell that Voldemort threw at
don't elaborate.
Baby.
Don't elaborate.
I'm just saying this is from the first movie that it rebounded onto him.
Yeah.
It's a baby. How incompetent do you have to be to where you have to use a magical spell on a baby when you can't just like, I don't know, throw it out the window? This is not something. Sorry, sounds terrible. I would never do that. But this is a villain in a major series that his sole purpose that set up the plot was he tried to kill a baby and tried to use a magical weapon against him when he could have just, I don't know, pushed it down the stairs.
I mean, that's pushed
the soft spot on the head.
Dude, stop.
They have a self-destruct button.
Stop. First and foremost.
Okay.
Stop.
Okay, I'll stop.
Secondly, isn't that the point of this fucking series? Because
it's the point. I get that.
There are literally scenes that I've watched, because I won't talk about important stuff, but there are scenes where people are going like here, say this is a cup of coffee, okay? And this is a straw, okay? Because that is a straw. And somebody
Weird.
is going like this above the straw to make the straw stir their coffee. This is an actual scene in Harry Potter. I'm not joking. But you could just go like this.
And they had to use the same hand motion.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
exactly.
Is that
So
they're so magically
yeah,
dependent that they
exactly.
forgot how to
Yeah,
just like exist.
yeah. Just slit the baby's throat. I get it. I know what you're saying.
Wow, I did not go that far, you fucking
I'm
baby
just
murderer. Oh my god. I
we
just
gotta
said
move on. We gotta move on.
I just said yeet him out the window.
That's any better.
No. But anyways, the movie ends. Harry Potter finds out that the Malfoys, Draco Malfoy and his family are the ones that like own Dobby, who is trying to save his life the entire time, but Dobby's kind of annoying. Harry finds a loophole and frees Dobby. And then Draco Malfoy's dad tries to kill Harry in the halls of a school. Weird. Yeah. That's not relatable to the U.S.
Oh.
Yeah, I went there, but it's also true because we suck as a nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also said that, guys. Be ready.
Tune into our other podcast. It's the All Things
Political podcast. We don't have it yet, but we have enough content. We'll get there. He frees Dobby, which is cool. So Dobby becomes a free elf. Draco's dad tries to attack Harry, and he's like, bitch, I don't work for you no mo. And just like, that's kind of how the movie ends. And it's great. And I know that we brushed through this in a very drunken and incoherent fashion. But also,
that's the point of our podcast.
And if you guys haven't,
we drink.
If you guys haven't seen these, if you guys haven't seen these movies yet, like honestly, you're missing out. Especially if you're like our age, like early to mid 30s. Like you guys grew
and younger than us. This is a big
and
fucking deal.
Older. I would say like if you're under the age of 40 and over the age of 22. Like, you grew up on these films.
I will say that the animation in the first couple movies...
it's not
really
great.
Bad. It's really bad.
I mean, it's early 2000 CGI. It's not good.
But it gets way better.
The movies get
darker.
Because it goes with the ages of the people that are... That grew up on them.
That's what I said! Yes,
I know. That is what you said. We've talked about this, and I will give you full credit of that.
I was saying what I said to my girlfriend. I wasn't saying it to you. I was saying...
No, I know, but we did talk about that, and I completely agree, because that was one of my biggest qualms, like going back and rewatching the first couple films, and then you're like, but dude, look at what age you were at that point in time. So, I mean, go back, watch these. They're fantastic. Even if you've seen them 1,000 times, like, watch them with us. And, we might have theories. Like, we skipped over an entire theory about Malfoy.
We have to.
We have to. We're not going to go back into it. Yeah. If you guys are interested about it, like, comment below. And I will gladly go into this. It's a great fan. It is a fan theory. It is not getting confirmed.
When I went out on Wednesday or Thursday with Amrita and Fahim. So me and my cousin Marty, and now I'm getting Nicole into these, and then Fahim were huge like Harry Potter fans. Like, and my cousin Amrita, she's like, well, I tried watching them, I wasn't really feeling it. And Fahim is just like, he's like, shut up. You're embarrassing me. It was super funny.
That's great.
But anyways.
Yes, so with that being said, guys, we are going to go ahead and close out this episode.
But before we do, we just want to talk to you guys about our Patreon page. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So we have our
go to our web store, buy some.
If you guys like what we're doing, we have the Patreon page and our web store. Those are two of the best ways to support us. Either as a one-time thing to where you can get some of our merch. The Patreon page is like a monthly thing.
If you join our Patreon, I don't know exactly what it is, but if you join, no. I'm saying I'm drunk. Which is the point of our podcast. But if you join our Patreon, depending on what level of like joining, you get stuff for free, like monthly, right? Monthly.
You get access to behind the scenes full
No, but
interviews.
they mail you shit.
Yeah, depending on the level that you join at, you get different levels of rewards from.
I'm so sorry.
From stickers to hoodies and
coffee mugs,
t-shirts.
Like you
There's
just
so much in between.
Get merch mailed to you.
And then from there, there's a lot of added benefits in between. So yeah, if you like what we are doing, I hope you like what you're doing. But if you like what we're doing, oh god, we both snorted this episode. That's so great. But if you like what we're doing, join our Patreon. We have added benefits for you. And we're just this is what we do. Regardless. And everything comes out of our pockets until you guys decide to join
Patreon.
Join Patreon on a monthly thing. Buy merch from us. We have a lot and we have access to a lot of like cool opportunities. So if there's nothing on the web store that you want us to be selling and you want us to sell it, like let us know. We'll throw it up there for you guys. We've done some custom pieces for people that are not actually on the web store. You just got to talk to us. So check it out. Let us know. And other than that,
we do apologize for our behavior this week.
To an extent. This is what we do. We drink and talk about stuff that we're passionate about, and we're passionate about so many nerdy things. As you can tell from this episode, you can tell from comic book stories to Harry Potter to booze.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, right.
This was a lot of fun. Anyways, you say it.
We love you guys, and thank you for being a part of this to the fact that you have been already, and we hope to see more of you guys. We love you, and this has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.
Cheers.
Cheers.